Hello and welcome back to Mortals and Motors. Today you join me in my garage because it is absolutely freezing outside, so I'm going to be doing some work indoors on this, which is PGH, my 1980 Volvo 345. So today's job is a really simple one. I want to change the radio because this car has still got its original radio which it had from factory or from the dealership, which is a Volvo long wave medium wave radio. And whilst I do love originality, there is no longer any stations that I can pick up on it that are worth listening to. It's really, really crackly, and it's just a couple of talk radio stations, and they are not my scene. So when I was in the Netherlands a couple of months ago, I went to the Volvo Klassieke Beurs, which is a fabulous Volvo fair at the Autotron in Rosmalen. I would thoroughly recommend it if you're a Volvo fan and you want some parts. And there I managed to find a FM radio that looks exactly the same as my long wave radio. First things first, let me show you what the current radio is like. Yeah. That's not fun to listen to. That's at one station. There's something else over here, I think.
As well as a Ryanair fare from Dublin to Manchester,
which
have
is
all been cancelled. In the last few minutes, I did manage.
And that's an Irish talk radio, which is on the frequency that Atlantic 252 used to be on years ago. Such a shame. I loved that station. Okay, you've just seen my original radio, and this here is my replacement one, which looks absolutely identical, but for the fact that it has FM tuning. It is actually now a few days later, and it's now warm enough that I can actually have the garage door open, so let's carry on fitting this radio. I think it would actually be a lot easier for access if I could just push the cart outside, so let's see if I can do that. So having done this job several times on various 340s and also 240s, are pretty much exactly the same. I just need to undo loosen these two screws and then undo the one that's in that hole there, and then this panel kind of slides out on both sides. There we go. Right, one side done, let's get round to the other side. It's just the same thing here, give these a loosen. Get purchase on the screw in there and unscrew it. Right, that's down. So you can now see there's a wing nut on both sides that just grips the radio in place. So if I unscrew that on both sides, I should then be able to pull the whole radio unit out. Or actually they're wing screws, they're not wing nuts or wing bolts, because they come out with a bolt in them. Like so. Okay, the radio's loosened on both sides, so it should, there we go, slide out. Easy. I need to disconnect all these connectors. There's the aerial, there's the earth and the power, and there's the speakers, which is probably not really visible if I try and film that, but we'll see how we go. Okay, inside the relative warmth of the garage, let's compare these connectors. So this is the long wave, the old one, and the one that's got 30 written on it is the FM, the new one. So the old one, we've got the aerial, which is duplicated on the new one, easy enough. So then we have a multi-plug for the earth, which is black, and the power, which is blue, with an inline glass fuse. And this is where it gets a little bit more complicated, because on the new radio, we have the power is ready to take the glass fuse there. The earth is ready to earth directly to the body of the car rather than through a multi-plug. So that we need to sort out. And then on the old radio we've got these two connectors for the speakers. We've got an outie bullet and an innie bullet. On the new one we've got the outie bullet, but the innie bullet is missing. So having had a look off camera, I think that what I should actually be able to do is just unscrew the negative lead out of the old radio, disconnect the inline fuse, and then they should both then slot onto the new radio, hopefully. Let's see if I can make that happen. So I'm going to have to do a tiny bit of butchery, because for the power coming out of the old radio is the short end of the fuse, whereas the new radio, it's the long end. So I'm going to have to chop this off the old radio and wire it in to the new one. This wire cutter is terrible. Can you see the big gap there? And it's fully closed, so that's not going to cut anything, is it? Okay, I will just get a pair of scissors, I think. Right, I don't massively like butchering original equipment, but well, this radio is basically useless, even though it works perfectly, because the world has moved on in terms of FM technology, etc. So it's for the best. Right, that's one cut off. And then what I'm going to do is wire it, just strip it, put a connector on, and then just connect it in place of the long one there on the new radio, which means that the multi-plug off the old one will then happily fit onto the new radio, because otherwise it's going to be the wrong. Otherwise they're meeting like that, and it's not going to work. Hopefully the wire cutter works as a wire stripper at least. Yeah, it does. That's good. Okay, what connectors do I have? Not many in this selection. I really don't want to have to go to the motor factors and get more, because this is Wales and everything is absolutely miles away. So I think what I'm going to have to do is just put a... I'd like one of those double-ended connectors, you know, that is essentially just a permanent fixing, but I'll just have to put a male and a female spade connector instead. Again, hopefully this will work to crimp down my wires. Yeah, it does. How's that? Yeah, that's nice and solid. These are pretty good because they're sheathed, so it won't accidentally short on something. But I will actually even then put a bit of black tape around, electrical tape, just to make sure. Don't want a crispy car. Okay, now those can be joined. Oh no, it's raining. Oh, for goodness sake. Right, I am just securing all the wiring in place. That's the earth. And then my fuse can go in there. And then the fuse connector on the other side. Come on. There we go. That can now connect to the multi-plug in the car. Next job is the speaker wires. So we've got, that one's alright, but this one needs a connector on it. So I'm just going to cut off this receptacle here and wire it in onto the new radio like that, so that it's then using the car's standard wiring. Okay, let's get some tape and cover those up. Right, electrical tape has been put on those connectors just to make sure that they don't short out on anything, and let's get it in the car. The sky is looking purple at the moment, which is just brilliant, because it hasn't rained in a very long time until the moment I start pushing the car out of its nice warm dry garage. Never mind. Right, let's get all these connectors connected up. Right, on those go. Next is... where are you? There we go. Power and earth. Mated up. And finally the Aerial. Okay. Right, moment of truth. Let's plug the battery in. Let's see if this works. I'm not pushing it all the way for now, but just see if it works. Eek. Okay, battery's connected. Moment of truth. Oh, absolutely nothing. Great. What have I done wrong? What have I done wrong? I don't think I've done anything wrong. Alright, disconnected the battery again. Let's have a look at this fuse. I think that looks alright. Well, that's an arse, isn't it? Well then, that concludes this video. In a rare, unsuccessful attempt to replace a Volvo radio. I think I will have to take it apart, see if there's anything obviously wrong inside it. Otherwise, I need another radio. Damn. Hope you enjoyed watching this, regardless of the fact that it has been completely unsuccessful, and it's not been a complete waste of your time. And I will catch you again in the next one. Bye.